Hi everybody, my name is Cindy and I am an energetic stepping and wholeness counselor. I work very closely together with spirit, but I also give sound treatments. And today I'm joined again by Patrick Moulin. For the ones who have not seen any of our previous videos, I will give a short introduction about Patrick. So Patrick Moulin is the author of The Little Book of Oneness, which is available on Amazon. And besides being a writer, he also gives private consultations, which he calls Akashic readings. And he gives these private readings in person or over the internet, but also to open groups. He travels between Central America and Switzerland, giving workshops, Dolores Cannon quantum healing hypnosis sessions, individual energy sessions, and he also started to train an amount of people in the amazing Sacred Crystal Sound method. So welcome, Patrick.
Yes, hi Cindy.
Hi. So today we're going to talk about something new. The name of the method is called Sacred Crystal Sound Intensive Remote Treatment. Can you explain us a little bit more about this new method?
All right. Now, Sacred Crystal Sound Intensive Remote Treatment is a very long name, okay. But it adheres to the fact that the treatment is not just a one thing where the practitioners get together, do a session, and it's done. It actually lasts 30 days. Now, let me explain this. These are 7 practitioners who are trained in this method, Sacred Crystal Sound practitioners. They get together and they do a remote treatment with a client, for a client. Remote means the client doesn't have to be present. They take a picture and they have a specific crystal that they use for the client, meaning they put that crystal to the picture. They associate for each client a specific crystal. You can't mix them afterwards. It's like that crystal is just for that client. So that means the client is at home and they perform. Now, what happens is that with this treatment, the frequencies that are being generated, it's like you program the crystal for that client, like this. And then we can go later into what is the mechanism below that, what's the purpose. But once that is done, the crystal is sent to the client together with the recording of the session, an audio recording. Now, intense treatment means in this regard that then when the client has this, he wears the crystal for at least 30 days, every day, in the day. Doesn't need to wear it when they do sports or they're in the shower or they sleep. It's not like this, but for normal day activity, they wear it. And once a day, they listen to the recording. Once a day for 30 days. So that means the treatment continues. That's why it's intense. And then after the 30 days, they can put away the recording. And if they want, they can put away the crystal or they can continue to wear it. What got known by now is most people still want to wear the crystal. They really love to wear the crystal. They feel good with it and they continue. And some of those people who went through this testing stage with this method, they keep listening to this recording once in a while after the 30 days. So whenever they feel like once in a while, that could be maybe after a month again or after 2 weeks or whatever is their feeling for it, and then they hear it again like this. But they don't have to, it's just for the 30 days. So this is in short description of the method, what happens. And what is it for? This came actually out in the context of this current pandemics. I was asked several times, is there a method to help people in this regard with the pandemic, quote, pandemic. When they face the situation that they have to take a vaccine, or they have vaccinated, but they don't want to vaccinate, like there are different types of people. Some want, some don't. And the attitude is we never judge people in their choices. All what we do is we offer some help. What is the help? The purpose of this method is to help trigger information in the intelligence field of their, you could say, their localized body-mind structure, to help mitigate any negative effects that may come from taking the vaccine. Because it is possible that people suffer quite significant negative effects from taking the vaccine. It's documented. There are so many reports that went to the different reporting agencies. In Germany, it would be the Paul-Ehrlich Institute. In US would be the VAERS database, but there are other databases too. And whether this is causally linked or not, it's not our concern. The fact that it got reported means there's a signal, and it's serious signal, and it's much more than ever before any other vaccine intakes. So we want to offer some form of help in this. The help is that this treatment helps trigger from within the information field in the client to help balance, neutralize whatever wants to come about in their body. This requires collaboration from the side of the client, because they are the ones who ultimately control their own information field. They are sovereign beings. We provide, you could say, through this method, a trigger. They can take it and, you could say, integrate these impulses into their field, so that neutralization effects can take hold or can happen. And it's a bit like this. It's not that what gets injected into a person is not there any longer. If, for example, they take a vaccine that injects mRNA material, it's not that the mRNA disappears or that spike proteins are not being produced. It's not like this. They may still be found if one goes and looks. However, the only way to explain this, and this has not been looked at under the microscope, so we can only infer what this method's aim is in this regard. Is it simply works on the memory field of the spike protein in this regard. Let's say the spike protein, there are other things there, but let's say the spike protein. It works on the memory field of that element. And I say, the spike protein simply forgets what it wants to do as an effect. So it becomes inert. That would be a non-medical explanation. This whole process is anyway non-medical. But that would be an attempt to explain a mechanism as to how possibly this method works. It works on the information field. It does something to help neutralize, or you could say mitigate, any potential effects that this vaccine may have in those who took the vaccine. Now, there's also this other group of non-vaccinated people who say, oh, we have to deal professionally, for example, not with vaccinated people. And is that of a concern to some people? It is of a concern to some others, it's not. So what we say is, for those who say, I would still want to have this treatment, essentially what this treatment does is it strengthens for them, again, their immune system. It strengthens their information field to be more sovereign. So whatever outside influence may come in, it gets better neutralized. Again, this is not analyzed through the microscope. It's work on the information field. This is where the trigger is set through this method. If this trigger is taken by a person in this way, then they program their own you could say, individualized crystalline field to be more resilient. Essentially, it's a combat technique for being out of fear. It's like you come out of fear and you become sovereign. You program yourself in this way that you can actually not be influenced by this in an adverse way. So this would be then for the non-vaccinated group. For those who want that, as you see, it aims for both groups at achieving more sovereignty, more, you could say, they hold more their information field, their own energy field, and they can repel these potential side effects that may come onto them. So this is the aim of this method. And there was a testing phase, and it just ended, and more than 50 people were receiving this treatment, and they passed through the months, and they had all kinds of experiences. And I believe you will interview some of these practitioners, and they can tell you reports what the people experienced, and what also the practitioners themselves experienced with this. Is fantastic. And but you could say that the underpinning is this method works on the information field like this. The intelligence directly at the intelligence fields of the body. That's the idea. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. Yeah, I just would like to ask, why 7 participants? Is it a coincidence, or?
It's 6 + 1. It's 6 + 1. One holds. One holds. It's like it's a formula. 6 + 1 is like a formula. There's one practitioner there who is holding, it's like a silence key, or is holding a stillness key upon which the vibrations are built. Now this sounds very abstract. What do people understand when I say a stillness key? It's like the attention of that practitioner is solely focused on upholding, for the duration of this session, upholding stillness. Is like it's like cosmic presence, in another word. And it's like it forms like over the pictures of the clients and their crystals. And also over the practitioners. It forms like a field. That's like a cocoon that is formed, and it holds. It's like an opening. Something opens there to subtle layers, to divine layers, to like a reconnecting is happening. So this sounds a bit vague, perhaps, but it's at this stage. It's all we can say for the moment, and that's the one. Now you have six others, and the other 6, they perform. Now they have each been trained individually in the sacred crystal sound method. Now when the 6 come together in this way, their sounds they mesh in specific ways, forming a multidimensional cocoon on top of that stillness layer. And that acts as, you could say, the programming agent for the intelligence field in the clients. That is how it can be described. Could it be 12? Could it be 20? Could it be more? Could it be 50? It's conceivable, yes. But the smallest number that was seen, that I saw in the field as being feasible, was 6 + 1 or 7. That's how it came about. Could it be done with 5? It would not be complete, and this has to do with it's addressing this. This is again, this method aims to work at the information field. That's a higher dimensional information field, and if you like, you could potentially see that, yes, less people could do, even one person could work on that, yes. But when you have 6 perform on that, it addresses some geometries, some higher dimensional geometries in that field. And I'm not a mathematician, I just see these things, and I always struggle in explaining it,
yeah.
how to find the right words. But what you can say is that the 6 is the minimal number to do that work there. The 6 + 1, actually, like this. But it's conceivable to have more.
Okay.
So as of now, also practical wise, suddenly you have 20 people do this performance. Try to find the date where it fits to everyone to come together for this performance. It's more complicated, but 6 + 1 is feasible.
Yeah, and then all the participants are in the same room, or can they do it from home?
Same room.
Okay.
They must be in the same room. So all the 7 meet, and then they are in the same room.
Okay. And then for the ones who are receiving this treatment, what are they need to do? Because it is remote, is it that they will need to be connected through the PC? Or is it that you get a time and date and say, this is when we are going to perform the treatment?
They get the time and date, and then they just rest in that period, if it is possible. Since this is remote, it can be somebody who gets the treatment. Let's say the treatment is done in Europe, it's in Switzerland, but they live maybe in Asia or in the USA. And then when the treatment is done, maybe it's nighttime in the US or Asia. So then, then they sleep.
Yeah.
Or if it's in the middle of the day where they have to work, okay, so they have to work. If they cannot organize differently, it is the way it is. It will still affect them because you could say the physical body is at work.
Yeah.
Their mind is there, engaged, but there's something underlying, timeless, that is being worked on the information field. They might feel actually a bit something is going on if they are sensitive enough. Let's say they work. Let's say there's a baker, he makes bread, and then suddenly feels something is happening because in that period that maybe the treatment happens remotely. So he feels a bit different what's happening like this. It can happen that they sense this, but it will not affect their work. So he still would know how to make a bread.
Yeah. That would be funny. But it also helps, of course, that after that treatment on that time and date, they will have another 30 days, right? To actually listen to the sound and then wear the crystal and listen.
Yes. Once they have received the crystal and the recording, then they must organize time where they can sit or lay and just dedicate that period of time to hear it. That's all. With an open heart. That's all. They don't need to do anything else. Now, how long is the recording? It's about around 20 minutes. It's not, in that sense, an endless thing. No, it's not long. But they need to organize in the day that they have this 20 minutes, so they can sit down undisturbed by anyone and just focus on this. And they can hear with headsets, or if they have good speakers, then they can hear it with normal good speakers. It's not enough to hear it through a phone. These speakers are not good enough in the phone.
Okay.
So then that's all that is required of them to do for the 30 days. So they go through the 30 days like this.
Okay. So if there's a couple, for example, there's a couple in Germany or in France, let's stay here in Europe, if there will be a couple and they have done the treatments together, and then if they're going to listen, so each will have their own crystal, they receive it, they will also receive the recording. Are they then required to listen to the recording at the same time, or if it is, they can do it separately from each other?
They can do it separately from each other. Let's say together they came and said, we want to do this session. So they are part of that group that got the treatment. So it's the same recording. And but when they are at home and they receive the recording, they receive their 2 crystals, each has their own, they can then plan on their own if they want to listen to it together, or if they want to listen to it apart, because they have different schedules in the day, and one has a bit more time in the morning, the other one in the evening. That's up to them how they do. However, let's say the couple has organized it in this way. The wife got the treatment first, and then a few weeks later, the husband got the treatment and has gotten his recording and his crystal. This is not the same recording. Although it may sound similar, it's not the same. So he has to use his recording for himself, and she has to use her recording for herself. They cannot mix the two. They cannot say, oh, let's sit together and hear the recording. No, they have to use their own recording, because this is the sound. It's like, it's what got the crystal programmed in.
Yeah.
It's that sound sequence. So they are different. So they cannot mix that.
Okay. And is there, because we do the sacred crystal sound as well for children, I think it was from up to from 10 years onwards. Is there for this group, like, because some of the kids or some of the countries have given the freedom to give kids the vaccination as well from a certain age. So
yes.
If there would be like a family with 2 parents and a child who is maybe 8, for example,
happens.
Is
yes,
the child able to participate in this treatment
yes.
as well?
Yes, it happened. And in fact, it was very interesting what they told me. There were several children that participated in the testing phase. And what was very interesting is that the children then, they compared the crystals to each other, and you don't, like the parents said that they didn't need to remind the kids, their own children, to hear this for the 30 days. They wanted to hear it by themselves. Meaning they come from their side, oh, it's time for me to hear this, the recording.
Yeah, beautiful.
During the 30 days. So it's like from their own volition, they feel like they should do this. And they, after the 30 days, they keep wearing their crystal. But sometimes stuff happens. It's good to mention, you mentioned this. I think there was one child, I think, who ruined the crystal. Then it can happen. They run around and this and that in the day. It can happen. So even if it breaks in 2, let's just, for the sake of the example, even if it breaks in 2, they can put the crystal in a small pouch and keep wearing it. It's okay.
Okay. All right.
But it's fascinating to see the reaction of the children, because you can't make them hear this. If they don't want that, they don't want that. And that one has to respect them as persons. And but it seems they really want this, so that's really nice to see.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. And is the testing phase still going on, or is it
The testing phase just ended.
Okay.
I think a week ago, and they've done now more than 50 people. And so we did a review with them. We sorted out remaining questions with them. I mean, the practitioners who learned the method. And we sorted out the remaining questions, usually of practical nature. So now they have started to schedule new sessions where people already have started to book for this treatment. So now they go and just offer it. And it can be people from anywhere, and the people get also with the recording and the crystal, they get also a little paper, a page with instructions, more detailed, what to do, etc. So they have that in 2 languages, English and German. So they can address also people from other countries in this way. We will also make available through the central website, sacredcrystalsound.net, a page with this method, the practitioners, presenting the practitioners with their email addresses. So people can also go there and then contact them through this.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot, Cindy.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much for coming back on my channel. For all the ones listening, thank you very much for your attention. I will put information of Patrick underneath the video. So if you're interested in taking one of the treatments for the vaccinated or the unvaccinated group, you can reach out to them and they will take it from there. And for now, I wish you a very nice day or evening and see you soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye.